Shabbat Shalom to all of you. I want to welcome to all of you that you have come here for the first time. Please don't forget to let me know, to say hello to you and to talk to you. And this is our community service. One of the things that from time to time, many of you tell me, Rabbi, you need to give us a vision. And Rabbi, where are we going? Or what is the direction that we are taking? You know, our community is a special community. We have been here in Montreal for around now more than 25 years, around 25 years. When I came here, there was nothing. And we start from nothing, and we start growing. And we have many problems with different religions. You know, one from the rabbinical religion, another from the Christian religion. We start having problems because we supposedly we were not fit to one or to the other. And we have in this community really the United Nations. We have so many countries around us, and we have different languages. And sometimes it's even difficult to communicate among each other. No? We are glad that we have a language. There are two languages that help here in Montreal, English and French, and we can communicate a little bit better. But sometimes even the messages don't get the way they need to get. And sometimes there are misunderstandings, so sometimes we have a problem to really to communicate. But this community is a community in which all of us, we are very important. No one is less important than the other. And here we depend from each other. We call it, we are mishpacha. That means we are family. And being family means that we care among each other. You know, when I see on the Shabbat, and I see that some of you are not here, I start missing you, and I start asking to please contact you to know what is going on, what is happening, because I want to know that you are doing okay. Well, also we have a work through internet, a WebEx, and we have classes twice a week, not Tuesdays and Wednesdays. One in the Spanish language, that is my native language, and another in English, for those one who do not speak Spanish. And sometimes we grow and we decrease. But the problem sometimes is that many of our community, they do not participate in these programs. And this sometimes is difficult because sometimes we don't have time to talk during the week. Many times we are isolated and we see each other only once a week, you know, and I promote to start continually talking to each other and exchanging ideas and helping each other to know what we are doing. Being a Jewish community, sometimes for many of you that do not understand or you do not come through the Jewish background, sometimes it's difficult to you to understand what are we. And I want to let you know that you have the right to ask, and you have the right to let us know what we are doing. And then I want to welcome all of you at this time, and I want to go directly to the parasha, and then if you have more questions later on, we can talk a little bit. This parasha this week is a very interesting, because it's a parasha Emor, the continuation about the role of the Kohanim, the Kohen Hagadol, the high priest, and what needs to be doing, to whom needs to be associated, and how it needs to be doing, especially this talking about when there is a funeral, and to whom a Kohen needs to be close to somebody who is dead. The people sometimes, we do not understand the ideas of the past, and we need to try to bring it up for today. One of the ideas was the Kohen Hagadol, the high priest, had a very important role in Israel. He needed to be the leader of the spiritual leader for the whole nation. And he needed to be an example to everyone. And at the same time, he needed to separate from the regular things that others that were doing. And what there was more like a show and tell at that time. You know, the idea that I have been sharing with you is that there are many things that happened 4,000 years ago that not necessarily we need to keep doing today. They were especially practical at the time that were given. But today we need to look for an application, a principle that we can understand today and how to apply it. The truth are always the truth. It is the application. How do we apply? That is the principle. What is behind of that truth is what is so important today. You know, I have been talking to you over and over about that we do not need a religion. What we need is a relationship with our Creator, the Borei Olam, the Creator of the universe. I have been telling you that there is only one Creator. There is only one God. And He created all humanity. And He created all humanity equally. That all of us, we are His creation. Blessed be His name. Then, this separation only has a reason for a purpose and for a role. You know? For example, I'm going to be very basic in order that you follow me. You know, believe me or not, there is a difference between men and women. Okay? This is a basic principle. You know? We are not co-equal in the sense of nature. We are different. We are co-equals in value, but are not in roles. Then, when we mix the roles, what are we doing? We are destroying the Creator's creation. We are going against His creation. And then there are principles. And there are principles that many people call it religious principles. I would call it more moral principles. Okay? And then many people say, you cannot legislate morality. But let me tell you, we have known for a long time what is right and what is wrong. We receive from the Creator the 10 commandments, the 10 words, the basic constitution for all humanity. You know, in that precious 10 words, we have the essence for the behavior of all humanity. If we only, look at what I say, if we only will keep the 10 commandments, we will be in better relationship in humanity with all of us. We wouldn't need so many things. Everything else after the 10 commandments is application to that truth. It's application to the principles of the 10 commandments. And those applications have their time and they have their reason. Let me give you another example. You know, it is now in the legal settings, you know, that we create precedents. And when we create precedents, by precedents that for example, in a court, a judge gives a sentence for a case. That becomes a precedent. Then the next time something comes, they're going to use that as a precedent. And this is that, believe me or not, that sounds so advanced, sometimes is really a problem. Why? Because in the Torah they teach us that we need to make a judgment upon the case, not upon somebody else. And usually that's when we end adding and adding and adding to the point that we miss the principle of the Torah. And we get to the point that we erase the Torah and we make a human Torah. And this is what I have been through all these years bringing to you. Sometimes when you have something different to the rest of the people, it's like you are swimming against the current. And when you call the attention and you ask why, people get a little bit upset or confused or in a state of fight. You know, they're ready to fight because you only question them, why do you do this? Many times, people are very, how do you say, nervous when they do not know about certain things. And when they are explaining about certain things, and they realize that they are wrong, or doesn't match with what they believe, what they do, they react against the messenger, you know? And this is a problem, and that's when you create wars and destructions and disadjustments among people and societies. My God is better than your God. My way to do it is better than your way to do it. And you come to the point and say, how many gods do we have? How many gods are in the world? Then, a creator gave us a structure. The structure was based on the Torah. The Torah is the revelation of the creator. And he's giving us the priests. The priests are going to be the teachers. That we can see that in Devarim, Deuteronomy 33:10. That's the Kohanim and the Levites. They are going to serve and teach the Torah. We are going to see the principle in the Torah. God gave us roles to each one of us. And any time that we get away from the role that he has given to us, we create problems. When, for example, somebody wants to be something else that has not been assigned to be, you know, because looks like that is better, or looks like that is more appropriate for my status, and what they are looking is a status instead of the sense of serving. That's when problems come. When you are not satisfied with supposedly what you are, you know, and you want to be somebody else. You make like you put it in your room and in your office and wherever you are, Psalms 139, and every morning read it. And you're going to see how wonderful the Creator that we have. You know, when he said, I has made you in a marvelous way. I knew you from the moment of conception. I knew who you were. I knew all about you. And at the end, oh, search me, oh God, and look within me and see if there is something wrong. It plays a very important role. Structure, guidance. The rabbis are doing the same role. The role of guide, not to live their lives, not to tell what they need or they don't need to do, to show them, and then, as human beings, that we have been given the free of conscience, that we have given the Bechirach of Shear, the free will. That is the greatest gift that the Creator has given to us. Each one of us, we are responsible for our actions. I cannot blame somebody else for what I do. We in Judaism, we have a tradition that at the age of 13 years old, the boys, they do the bar mitzvah. You know, they become the children of the commandment. And then from that age, we teach our children that they become responsible for their own acts. No any longer daddy or mommy are there to cover them up. They need to work themselves and they need to be responsible. I am so glad that we have added the girls in the last century, and now we have the bat mitzvah too for the girls at 12 years old. Why the year before? Because girls mature faster than boys, no? And also the girls, they go through this passage of maturity and responsibility, what is beautiful. Then the community helps to us to be together and to integrate and to grow. But always is based on the principles of the Torah, what the Torah teaches and what is giving us. It's through the Torah, it's through the reading of the scriptures that we develop different ideas. And one of those ideas that have been developed with the time is the idea of the Mashiach, the Messiah, the anointed one. Here in Emor, we see and we are reading that the Kohen is going to be anointed, needs to be put a special oil, and that means that he has a special role that he is going to play. The Mashiach that is being developed in our Masor, in our traditions, and, coming from the scriptures, our sages have been talking about the Mashiach. And one of the interesting things about this idea is to bring us together back to Torah. One of the roles of the Mashiach is to bring us back to Torah. Why we need to be brought back to Torah? Because it's very easy with the times. You become very relaxed and very dependent sometimes about the things of the Creator. And you forget about your relationship with the Creator. You know, and He is going to give us those instructions, and we need to be constantly going back. The next portion of the Kohanim is the portion about the HaMoedim, the appointed times. This is in chapter 23. And in this, it's going to make a description. Our Creator is going to make a description to us about these special appointed times or seasons. In Bereshit, in the beginning of Bereshit, in verse 14, he say, and the Lord say, you know, Vayomer Elohim, Yehi Meorot, you know, and he saw the light in the firmament, you know, in the Berkia, and he saw in the firmament, he saw also in the heavens, and there was a division, you know, and he separate the day from the night. And they say, this is going to be like an illustration or message for us to show us that but in order that we want to have, what he say here is Ben Hayom uben Halayla v'hayu le'oto ulmoedim, that we're going to have the seasons. We call it festivals too. The appointed times. These appointed times, He gave it to us, but we constantly we have a reminder of Him. He gave us many reminders. For example, I want to give you another idea. With the men, we have told that we need to wear the 6 C's. What is the 6 C's? Is the tassels that we wear to. What the 6 C's? Let me show you something like this in my talit. It's to give us, to remind us. That is a reminder. You know, today, for example, when you don't want to forget something, what do? You take something in your finger, and you have it here, no? And that gives you to remind you. But the 6 C's are the same thing. It's an idea to remind us about our Creator. Then the Creator gives us a lot of ideas. You know, the problem is when we become attached more to the letter than to the intention. And that's when we become religious fanatics and we miss the points that the Creator wants to give us. I love tradition, but I always say good tradition, not bad tradition. And I love a tradition who help me to lift up the name of the Creator, not to elevate myself. I'm the one that need to elevate Him, not myself. And this is important to put Him always first. This is the reminder, to think and to look that He is always with us. Then this HaMoedim, these appointed times. Interestingly enough, depending how the rabbis and the sages, they divided the students. Some they say there, Sarah, I consider there are 7. From these 7, there are each one has you can read the 7 Shabbats too. But these 7 festivals, the covering of all these festivals is the Shabbat. The Shabbat is the basic appointed time of the Creator. It's the 7 days. Has nothing to do with the firmament, has nothing to do with anything. It's something that's totally unique on its own. Doesn't follow any light or the moon or the sun or anything like that. What I follow is 7 days. The 7th day is a day of rest. Then this Shabbat is the covering of the other 6 holidays or festivals that we have appointed times. We start with Pesach, Passover. The second festival, and many people do not know this, but in Pesach, there are 2 Shabbats. The first day of Pesach and at the end of Pesach, 2 Shabbats. We're going to go. Then we have the Rishonim Bikurim, the first fruit, the counting of the Omer. Now, and by the way, tomorrow we have a very special day of counting of the Omer. Tomorrow is Lag BaOmer. That is the 33 day of the counting of the Omer. And this is a totally rabbinical festival. And this festival talks about something very mystical, talking about Rabbi Akiva and one of his best students, Rashbi, or Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Supposedly the one that wrote or received Kabbalah, the Zohar, and also they call it the hidden Torah, Then we have different things. That's our tradition, and this tradition helps us to look at the Creator and to worship Him is wonderful. But if the tradition becomes more important than the Creator Himself, we need to be careful. Then after the counting of the Omer comes a very important festival. All the festivals are important, but there are 3 festivals that are called outside the regular. They're Shalosh Regalim, the 3 festivals. And then the first one is Pesach. The next one, after Rishon Bikurim, we have Shavuot, that we are going to have it pretty soon. Shavuot is so special because in Shavuot, we have one of the greatest revelations of the Creator, not only to Israel as a people, but to humanity. He gave us the Torah. And we were witness, all people were witness, because there were not only Israelites, but there were other people outside Israel that they witnessed giving us the Torah. For that reason, more than ever, we believe that the Torah is a universal legacy of the Creator for all humanity. After that, we have a pause, a time that nothing happened, and suddenly, on the 7th month, interestingly enough, we have 3 special festivals, one after the other. Yom Teruah, the blowing of the shofar, the blowing of the trumpet, and the next one, 10 days later, we have Yom HaKippurim, the day of the covering, that is translated as the day of atonement, or the day of forgiveness of sins. And this is according to our traditions, we have put this festival at the highest of the highest. For our Creator, all the festivals are important, and no one is more important than the other. But we as human beings, we have that tendency to graduate, to make grades, to say this is more important than the other. And we need to go back to the scriptures. All of them are important. And after Yom HaKippurim, the final festival is Sukkot. And Sukkot is a very important festival because I call it this festival the festival of the new beginning and the end of the past and a new beginning. This is starting anew and beginning anew, the continuity of the Creator. And sometimes look like that, at the end of Sukkot, what comes again? Pesach. According to the Torah, the first day of the year is the first of Nisan. Our sages has found another 4 New Years, and they has added those New Years. Good or bad, what we need to look at this is what the Torah tells us, and why do we have these festivals? These festivals, these appointed times, is in order to remind us what the Creator has done for us. And each one of these festivals has a special spiritual meaning, and each one of us represents something for us. And finally, I need to talk to you, the one that want to develop a little bit more time. It's about, at the end of chapter 24, we are going to have a series of situations that relates in this passage. First of all is the lighting of the menorah. Again, it's a repetition. Already we have seen it in the book of Shemot in Exodus, and he repeated also the lighting of the menorah. Then the what do we call it, the Lechen Hapanim, or the shortbread. I never understood that term in English, because it's the bread of the presence. Okay, and this is the 12 loaves of bread that were put in there in the Mishkan and the Ohel Moed and the Kohanim that will eat this bread, and each one of these loaves represent one of the tribes of Israel. And after that, we're going to read something that comes from verses 10:24 to verse 23 that ended this parasha. There are going to be a series of notes, or they call it injunctions of laws. I don't like to call it laws, but ideas about to do right or to do wrong. 2 things that I want to bring to you. First of all, there is a very known, the lex talioni. Lex talioni, the law of the hill, that will be in English. No? In Latin is lex talioni, and that is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and has been so misinterpreted. But at the end, what we need to understand that this is the one that gave us to us the industry of insurance today. Only to give you that point. Let me go back to verse 10. Here is going to talk about a young man who blasphemed the name of the Creator. And because of that, he is stoned to death. But what is here is important to look at, and what it has caused so much sometimes controversies or misunderstandings even among the sages. Because here what is speaking is the son of an Israelite woman, okay, is the one that is going to do this evil thing. But this Israelite woman's son, the father is not an Israelite. The father is an Egyptian. And here is when has come an avalanche of opinions in the Talmud and from Ezra and other sages. The question is, who is a Jew? and believe me, no, that question is still on the air. If you follow halakha, I mean what the rabbis have dictated, basically a Jew is the one that the mother is a Jew. That's the halakha. But what the Torah teaches, and this is what sometimes I tell people, our prophet, Yirmiyahu Hanavi, scream, climb out, and say, cursed be the man who trusts in man, but blessed be the man who trusts in the Creator. Sometimes, we need to follow God even if we do not like it, or sometimes we think it doesn't make sense. You know, constantly, and today we are seeing how our way of thinking is changing to the point that there are certain people, they are saying or expressing themselves that they are more humane than the Creator. They are more humane than the creators. Some of them, for example, I'm going to give you a simple thing. The death penalty, you know, that doesn't need to exist because we human beings, we are humane. The difference of gender, that is not any longer necessary. You know, everybody is the same. And I can give you many other points of view. You can do whatever you want to do, and there is no responsibility. Totally going against the values of the Torah. And we need to be constantly confronting that. And who is a Jew? According to the Torah, a Jew is the one that the father is an Israelite. You know? Now, we have in the Torah, if we follow the halakha of our sages, we're going to find ourselves that our best people are not Jewish, are not Israelites, because their mothers were not Israelites. Then they say, well, they were not Israelites, but their mothers converted before. They give you the example of course, Joseph. You know, that is an example. We have two tribes, okay? A specific two tribes. Manasseh and Ephraim. Joseph was given a double blessing for being the firstborn. And they had given to him the opportunity to have two tribes. And the mother is no Israelite. Then how the children are? Then she converted. But before the mother, we had all the rest, the 11 children of Jacob. No one of them, their mother were Israelites. Believe me or not, they belong. First of all, Isaac, Sarah was not Israelite. Rachel was not Israelite. Rivka was not Israelite. Leah and Rachel were not Israelite. And the two, the concubines were not Israelites. We have Judah, who had a relationship with his daughter-in-law, Tamar. She was a Canaanite. And we say, no. What about Ruth, a Moabite? Poor King David. No. And I can give you a list of names that will unclassify or declassify these great heroes of the scripture as non-Israelites. Well, I have come to the conclusion that doesn't matter how much men trying to change the word of God, they cannot change it. But we need to understand the principles. And to me, who is a Jew? You know, that question was asked to Ben Gurion. And Ben Gurion, you know, the father of the modern Israel, when he proclaimed the independence of Israel, May 14, 1948, or the 5th of Iyar. And he was asked this question. Mr. Gurion, who do you think is a Jew? You know what was his answer? Anybody who's crazy enough that want to be one of us. That was his answer. He didn't talk about father, mother, religion, or anything like that. He talked about the spirit of Israel. I have had the opportunity to be in this community for, I told you, 25 years. And I'm going to be honest to you, that has been honored and touched by many of you, that even though that you do not have, supposedly, Jewish blood, you are more Israelites than me. For your love and your love for the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and for your service to him. That's what really make you part of Israel. And this book by Yikra, he called. This is the point in which each one of us, we need to be called by the Creator. Now, today, everything is based on the organized religion. Depending what the organized religion tells you, that's what it has value. But if you are not under the organized religion, you are nobody, supposedly. You don't have any value. Then you depend on the organized religion for them to convert you. If you want to be part of them, you need to be converted. Do they have the power? They think they have the power. Okay? Let me ask you this question about conversion. I have been in this world so long now that, let me tell you, I have been fighting against everybody, from the Christianity to Judaism and other religions. All of them, they want to convert you to the religion. All of them, they say that the religion is the only true religion, and the only way that you can be saved, they use that word saved, is if you become part of the religion. And salvation depends on which religion you are, because each one has their own definition. But here comes the most important thing. I can assure you that nobody can convert you. The only one that can transform you is the Creator. Blessed be his name. He is the only one that can change you. And if you respond to him positively, you are a new person. And you have new beginnings. That's what our Messiah Yeshua came to do. He never said to you, you need to convert. You need to change your... To convert to what? The only people that he taught was the Jewish people. Or people that sometimes they don't know that. Convert to what? You need to come back to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You need to come back to the Torah. That was what he was talking about. What about those people that say, you are not any longer this, now you are that? This story or joke that they tell about this Jewish man that was converted to Christianity. On Friday, he went to the church. They're going to convert. They put a water and he say, "You are no longer a Jew. Now you are a Christian." Well, he went to his house and they were checking on him. They wanted to be sure that he had done the right, honest decision, And then they found on Friday he started doing a barbecue. Because Friday, yes, he doesn't need to keep the Shabbat. He doesn't need to do it because now he is a Christian. And now what he does a barbecue. And then They come to his house and they discover that he's doing a barbecue. On Friday you don't eat meat. He said, oh, no, you're wrong. Before I put this piece on the barbecue, I say, you are not any longer meat, now you are a fish. See? Converted. He had the power of conversion. You know, doesn't matter how people tell you. It's not what people tell you. It's what you have here inside. And this is the secret of who is an Israelite, who is a Jew. The person, a Jew, comes from the word Yehudah, Yehudi. That means a praiser of God. And Israel is a beautiful term because they have so many exceptions, but the one that I like the most is the one that we are always struggling with the Creator. What I like that one is because that keeps us on our toes. And we need to start always ready, firm to Him. And it's a vayikra, it's a call. And many of you have been called to be part of Israel because you love Israel, because you love the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This community is teaching you that the better values that we have is not about how religious we are, but what is the relationship with the Creator. This community is talking to you about not to be holier than thou, but to be clear and honest. This community talks to you about to be Shomer Torah. And what it means to be Shomer Torah, the guard of the Torah, that means that you live Torah in your life. And how you live Torah in your life? You do the things that the Torah tells you to do. The 10 Commandments are the basic walk of life. That your yes is yes and your no is not. And you do not do evil things. And if you do something wrong, you have a way to go to the Creator. The beautiful word called teshuvah. That means returning to the Creator and coming back to Him. And how you come back to Him? When you acknowledge that you have done something wrong, you confess it, you make it right. That's what is so important. It's not only, I say, I'm sorry. No, make it right. And your relationship with the Creator becomes a reality. I want that you understand that what we are teaching is for all of us and for other people. One of our greatest mistakes sometimes is that we keep this wonderful understanding that each one of us, we are growing, to keep it to ourselves alone. It is time that you also share with others what you are learning. I am not talking about convert anybody. I do not believe in conversion. I always say that conversion is a lateral movement. You go from religion A to religion B. You know, you jump from one side to the other. And I say, our God doesn't care about conversion. Our God cares about transformation. What I mean transformation? When you go from point A to the top of the mountain. You go to the Creator. Why? Because the Creator is asking you to be close to Him. What a beautiful picture about this vertical relationship. The horizontal relationships among each other. But a relationship with the Creator is vertical. I want that you understand that and you put in practice in your life. Thank you so much for this special day, for this Shabbat, and for you being here already means that our Creator is working with each other and we have a lot of room to work and to grow. May the Lord bless you and have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.